Gerber, Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Ross, thanks for being here this afternoon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we've been talking the big picture and conceptually the Tesla story now for the past year, and I've been frustrated, but I know you've still got a decent amount of Tesla on the books, right? So you got to still be running the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of Tesla still, and we, like this opportunity to lighten our load, at these prices.
Yeah, you sell if they ramp on earnings?
Well, yeah, we've been sellers for some time, a little by little, because we don't try to market time. But, we look at what we think Tesla's worth and where it's trading today. We still see a gap. And so, it's probably better to be a seller than a buyer, from a valuation perspective, I guess. Tesla seems to defy, sort of PE logic right now with twice the multiple of NVIDIA. So, it is what it is. I got to make money for my clients. Tesla has not made us money for over 3 years now, and I just don't see how Tesla gets back to $400 a share without earning more like $6 a share. So until Tesla can really get earnings to go higher, I just don't really see where Tesla kind of goes from here. So that's why earnings are so important. But right now, if you go on the website, 0% financing, more discounts coming. Tesla is now a MAGA symbol. So, people are buying the cars simply because they're the best cars, but they're holding their nose when they do it. And so, I don't see how they grow volumes meaningfully from here when the Cybertruck is really like a kind of a specialty vehicle, and they don't really have anything new coming, and they don't really want to address the $30,000, $25,000 car market, which I think would have been a huge home run for Tesla with this RoboCab actually having a steering wheel. So, it was a huge disappointment that you couldn't buy this RoboCab and actually just drive it,
Fair, yeah. No wheel makes it a little difficult.
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to talk about the discount car this afternoon at all, even in the conference call?
I mean, once again, you gotta sell cars to consumers if you're Tesla, because that's 95% of your revenue. Mm-hmm. And as much as you want to do robo-taxi, that's not happening anytime soon. There's no quantifiable profitability or revenue coming from robo-taxi for Tesla anytime soon. Like maybe before my kid even starts driving, And I question even their ability to solve full self-driving with the current vision systems that they're working with, because I don't think hardware 4 is good enough. And so Tesla is sort of in this weird space where it needs a lot of work. It has tremendous potential, but like that vehicle you're putting up on the screen should have a steering wheel, and they should sell it. I don't know about that toaster oven, but I would probably buy a toaster oven just to take me to the Dodger game because it takes 2.5 hours in traffic. But that said, tell me how they're going to sell more cars than they're selling today.
Especially with General Motors, whose margins had some solid improvement over the past year. Tesla's kind of more flat, but they...
Well, also, just to jump in, there's some great new EVs coming onto the market next year, too, from a lot of different companies, and these companies have figured it out. So the days of, we don't have competition, that's long over. You look at like Dodge Charger EV, like I was like, that's a sweet idea, Silverado EV truck, so like, lots of different companies are coming out with great EVs. This was the goal of Tesla, but now with their eye off the ball, their competitors are legit. And because so many people dislike the political leanings of Elon, they're choosing other vehicles just simply because they will not support Elon Musk. And so this becomes a really difficult thing when you sell cars basically to liberals for a living, but the guy in charge works every day for the oil companies and Donald Trump. So this is just a dissonance that consumers have to deal with, and people are buying cars just because they are still the greatest vehicles. But as I said, they really don't want to have to support Tesla, and it's a really sad thing to see.
You guys should finance, Ross, a survey to put some data behind that, because you say that every time, and you got to get some data, right?
The data is the margin.
Other people buy cars. You don't have to be a liberal to buy a car. Right?
The data is the profit margins. The more margins go down, it's the more desperate they are to have to sell a car.
Sure, yeah, that part, yeah. Well, part of the Republicans not buying cars,
we bought Ferrari stock. Nobody is discounting a Ferrari. Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Ferrari makes 40% margins on their cars. They're selling a $4 million car to their current customers, and they don't discount anything. Why? Because the brand has such amazing value. People look at this brand and they love the brand, and the consumers will buy Ferraris after Ferrari at a 40% margin. This is why we own Ferrari stock now, because I think the value of a brand is something that one should not just, diss. And, Tesla had a premium brand. It had a premium place in the marketplace, and it's gone. I don't know what data you need. Just go look at the numbers. The numbers suck.
Right.
So we're excited about 60 cents. Well, we used to do $1. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the data that I'm referring to, I would love to see is if people from political parties are not buying the car or not. That's like.
Well, go to Houston. Just go to Houston and see how many freaking Teslas are there. There's none. Now you go to Santa Monica, they're everywhere. So what data do you need? California is like the largest market for Tesla sales in the world, besides China. So once again, it's about climate.
Well, it also makes sense more. Houston's a giant place to drive around. The infrastructure being built in California for charging is a lot more accommodative, right?
Well,
but I hear your point on the
margins.
I hear your point on the margins, which is that obviously you're not going to be getting them if you were compared to the extreme high end. It sounds like basically what it boils down to is there are better options for it. But that being said, I mean, they're still pulling off like 18% margin, which is not too far off traditional automakers. For all the other stuff they're doing, is that not worth a little speculative premium into some of their moonshots?
Absolutely. And it has that speculative premium at 90 times earnings, how much, what is GM and Ford, 6 times earnings, come on, man. Tesla gets the premium it deserves and should have, especially when you include storage and charging, which I love those businesses. And quite frankly, I love the EV business with great software and services. There's nothing wrong with Tesla, but you name me another CEO doing what Elon's doing.
Hey, as far as numbers, deliveries go, though, do you think that these are going to be negative too? Do you think the market's going to look at the numbers and go, that's not good? Or what would they be able to do here just number-wise to maybe ebb some of the concern that the demand is waning at a fast rate? Real quick.
Well, I think the most important thing is deliveries out next year and whether they'll compare to this year. I think he has an easy comp this year over last year because they had some disruptions because of terrorism and things last year in the supply chain. But that said, are they really going to get over 2 million vehicles, get to 2.5 million vehicles? And that's what we expect over the next year. And that's what I don't think we're going to achieve.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate the time.